Hello, and welcome back. Northstar here with another Wildermyth Let's Play. Still some days before. Still tired, but got some food. Rested some. More caffeine. I think I can at least not bumble my words so bad anymore. I don't know. Maybe I'm a little also got a little adrenaline because I'm upset about yet another obnoxious, selfish behavior by the family member I stay with. Develop so much shit. What's actually an abusive situation, but I can't get out because I'm disabled with long COVID. I can't work. The government screwed me. I have SSDI because some of the work I did was when I was a grad student for the university, so it was payrolls a tax exempt due to this exemption out of the 90s. You know, SSDI had been around forever, but the Republicans with Bill Clinton signing off poked the SSDI system full of holes in the 90s with doing a lot to weaken it, and other welfare systems were, quote, insurance, but it's insurance like the health insurers who don't pay up on legitimate claims. I'm trying to get my channel here 500 subscribers so I can start monetizing, and hopefully I can earn enough money to get out of the country, get to Sweden, because they're the most friendly of the European countries to disabled people, because I'm very worried about the path the U.S. is taking politically, and I think it may become fascist within the next 30 years. I put it at least 1 in 5 odds, and that's more than enough for me to pull the trigger and leave. Until some recent events, I would have put it at 1 in 10 odds, but now I'm putting it higher. Things have been developing faster, and every prediction I made has turned out to be overly conservative. Things have happened faster or worse, so yeah, my survival partly may depend on this channel. So I hope you folks like it. Anyways, to humble ends. Tomric here is making a trip to dispose of the Oath of Oldwane, a mystical, legendary dagger that's cursed and has destroyed the entire age that is the lands in Wildermyth. The Yondering lands are divided into ages, or which can be thought of as like epochs of history. And so, you know, there have been cities in the past, and they've all come to ruin. This is a very rural time period, I guess, after the last collapse, where populations haven't recovered. The presence of monsters probably slows the rate of population growth, to say the least. And throughout human history, populations would only grow very slowly until the Industrial Revolution, so, which is to say, after a major collapse, perhaps spurred by magic, it could take thousands or maybe 1,000 years to recover from what on Earth would be much quicker. But with monsters slowing an already slow rate of population growth, and you need a certain number of large cities to really get past a medieval level of technology. If you're curious what the heck I mean by this, I suggest reading Guns, Germs, and Steel. Sometimes it does a pretty decent job of looking at how human societies progress. Very beginner level anthropology, and there's some issues with it, but it's definitely a really catchy, really interesting introduction to some concepts, and I recommend it. And it does poke a lot of hole in the racist narratives. Oh, Africa and Asia are undeveloped because some racial inferiority bullshit. No, they're underdeveloped because of simple things like the number of natural barriers in the landscape, like how many mountain ranges, and the presence of certain cereal and livestock type crops, fertile river valleys like the Fertile Crescent. Human civilization started in Sumeria and Egypt and then spread to Europe. There's a lot fewer natural barriers for technology spreading from basically Iraq and Egypt into Europe than there are all the way to China, which is the other major early center of civilization. It gets complicated, but basically literally the pattern of land and sea and mountain ranges on Earth is what's led to Europe becoming advanced first. The Americas developed slowly because they had north-south axis instead of east-west like Eurasia. Anyways, Tomric leads Smeal onto the ancestral lands of the Oldwane family. The Oldwane legend is a rich well of villains for Run Pony storytellers, a group of questionably related kinsfolk, i.e. inbred nobles, living in a secluded manner, practicing dark crafts. Predictably swampy. Come on. Better if we stick close. Turtle. Like the tortoise guardians, maybe. Wonder if you get something unique if you had a guardian character. Oh yeah, I did take time between the videos, since, you know, I'd saved and like some, and you'd also purge a couple characters from my legacy. Purges and remove, that's what the word means. I mean, people think it means something else because of the Soviet Union and anti-communist propaganda that claimed people who were purged from the Communist Party were killed. Sometimes they were, but the vast majority were just removed from the party rolls and excluded from political, like they couldn't ever run for office, which people did run for office. It was just they had to win a nomination within the Communist Party instead of, there were no opposition parties, so you had to win a kind of local nomination process that didn't guarantee any real political power. It was an oligarchy. It was not really effectively a democracy, but it was an oligarchy that did have methods of running for office that involved political participation. But anyways, in the Great Purge, a lot of people were both purged in the party rolls and killed. So it's not that people were killed, but the majority, like 70% of people who were purged were not killed. So, which is to say there were a lot more purges than the death toll. I think the death toll was what, 1 million? No, 300,000. No, 700,000, that's right. 300,000 less than a million. It was 700,000 died, but something like 3.5 million were removed from the party rolls. Which would be a 5-to-1 ratio, I guess. And a lot of those people died in prison. They weren't just straight executed. Anyways, it's not so bad when you've got thick enough stones. Only bad for visitors is probably what they intended. Stones like this tower, I guess. Or maybe you mean stones like you got big balls. That kind of version of what stones mean. Or stones like just great. Anyways, soon they're within a proper ruin, with towers half sunk, and many of them tumbled. We're looking for a forge. There's a stairwell. By the way, I know the God Big Balls thing is appropriate. Although I'll note this is a metaphorical sense, where people can say a woman even has got big balls. It's a gendered slang, but people will say someone's got big lady balls, and it's just become a synonym for, at least American culture, a synonym for just being like brave. Anyways, there's a stairwell, and there you go. You sure this is right? This is how I make this thing? Here, take the torch. Dinosaur skeleton, and looks like a bat. Maybe this... No, this is probably just actually a big lizard. People think anything is a dinosaur. But it's a stegosaurus-like lizard. Maybe that's something that's actually a species alive in the world. It's small. As Tomek draws the dagger, the Oath of Oldwane, the eyes of the forge begin to glow. The forge roars awake, vomiting hot coals. But like the dagger itself, the glowing embers arrest his eyes. And then he sees two features in the flames. Tomric. In one he sees himself aged and alone, still fighting the same long losing battles he's embroiled in today. In the other, he is not much older than he is now. He used the power in the dagger to bring peace to those he loves. Yeah, until the dagger corrupts him further into the future. These aren't losing battles. Plus, the evil dagger may be lying to you. Perhaps you should wield it It would change him, but not immediately. In the meantime, think of all the good he could accomplish. For his friends, for this world. Nothing would dare stand in his way. This is where the saying, what good is attain the whole world if you lose your soul, kind of thing. For a while, he might bring peace, but he'd become a force for evil greater than anything he destroyed in the long run. The dagger meets the forge and instantly melts. The coals jump and fly. Frigid air fills the room, snuffs the torch. And then, an apparition takes shape. Is it truly done? You cast away that cursed blade of mine? Yours? The spirit resolves into the form of a man. I made it in vengeance, to punish the world that persecute my family. To punish, and probably to lie to people so they wouldn't destroy it. So rashly done. You regret? You mean? The anger was cold in me, long before the blood stopped running. So he gets killed a lot of people. Also notice he's got a skeletal arm. If I had set in motion, someone else would need to end it. I can't answer for all the pain it's caused. But to you, at least. The glow that surrounds the last Oldwane mystic flares brightly for a moment. And he's gone. Where he stood lies what looks to be a bolt of fabric. At a second glance, it's a cloak of ghostly weave. Tomric bends and picks it up. You sure you want to touch that? Just got through destroying an evil artifact, didn't we? This feels different. A bestial bellow echoes down the stairwell. Atonement of Oldwane. A mantle of hope and virtue, gifted by a regretful spirit. Because of the unique augments of her legacy, this is one of those rare augments that stays with characters in the future. It doesn't make sense that it's part of their story, you know, the hook quest resolved, they have a higher retirement age and such, can never do this again. That they wouldn't hold into something like this. This is something that's very symbolic and would be important to someone. Could give it double sumo if I really wanted. But yeah, no, I'm worried about a little bit about the next chapter. Where to Uli? Well, you can get locked out of completing some hooks, but she is my first character who managed to finish all 3 of her hooks, which is great. They'll add to character's retirement age, which is how she has a retirement age of 72 as a warrior. That plus her upbringing. She doesn't have a cloak, and she's already a certifiable badass who I used to hold the line where going as toughest. Looking at the, sorry, if it wasn't clear, I was doing here, looking at the rolled stats of the characters. Tomric has excellent rolled stats for a warrior. Speed, which they don't gain when they level up, and if you're keeping them into older age, especially with all their hooks resolved eventually, you really need the speed to offset their loss of speed. Very good evasions. some charisma, important as characters age, and recovery rate, important because warriors will, it's inevitable, sometimes take a hit. He has the lucky hook, which is super valuable. He's got the star heart. Nostalgic, which would be useful in the future. Give another rare augment. He has a child. It's definitely someone I'd like to keep in. Yeah, and he's got the pet pine cone, which if he ever runs into Lord Evergreen, I think it's one of the few things that can give a stat bonus that's preserved in future chapters. Yeah, as much as I could give it to Uli, she's already got a ton of warding. I'm more worried about Tomric not having enough in certain situations. So also give him extra bonus damage and potency. Yeah, he needs it the most. Plus, there's a small chance that Uli will retire if I don't finish this fast enough. It's his thing. Anyway, sorry, some of you may not love this. We'll assume it's also good, but that's the rare retirement age buff for a warrior. That's super useful, but it's a lot of health. It's a lot of speed. Yeah, I think I need to give this to Tomric. Wish I could salvage the cloak I'm getting rid of, but it's just a boring. Alright. And a Mushrox appears. Sorry, I take a sec to think that through, but yeah. Brenner here, I know I was looking at hooks and whether they can be resolved. It turns out he can never resolve his Thorny Hook because he has a pet. Large pet, so I think that might exclude a pet rat or maybe a pet critter, but probably includes things like cats. Yeah, maybe at some point I could retire him from Legacy, but he is primed to get the Elm Soul Belt. Here he has 3 artifact things. Well, a cat's not the most amazing pet. It works with the way I use Mystics is, well, very tanky. Gives him some belly up close. 2 will damage, but Mystics already have such high retirement age that I can sometimes make do with 1 watt hook. May eventually goes retirement age up to 82 with a flirt quest, which 82 is probably enough. Hold on a second. Sorry about that. I saw somebody on who I hadn't seen in a bit, so just shoot him some messages. Someone who I done multiplayer games with before, but I have a suspicion may be excuse me. Basically just avoiding me and not wanting to do more games, but just being avoidant because people these days far too likely to do that to want space or busy or something when they really just don't want to talk to someone. It's one of the things I hate about this generation and somewhat younger ones. Really, just American culture these days. People being anti-confrontational. It's just a way of lying. It's a way of lying without facing the consequences of lying to someone's face. People getting what they want without saying anything. Honestly, I have no respect for that shit. It's just selfish behavior. But I have no respect for it. I mean, I have no liking for it. It's not polite behavior. It's not honest. It's not moral. But unfortunately, like I said, this is the 2 stunts in a row? Is that 2 stunts in a row? It's the world we live in. Can't know what... I'm not saying that person is doing that, but the thought has crossed my mind, and because of the world we live in. Ah, yes, you can upgrade shy swipes. It's an extra 1 damage from the cat. One of the characters that retired had a cat in the Thorny hook, but thought about retiring more of the characters with the black cat. That character was a hunter, and hunters are really better off with a shadow cat. But also it was a level 1 hunter. Like, I'd only done 1 campaign and only not been upgraded. Kind of trying to shy away from having tons of... I get lots of them when characters have kids or other events. You can't get a new party member. You can't choose their class. Sometimes I'll take it because it helps win a campaign, but where you have a choice with the character, you don't with the kids. But hunters aren't always great, and certain stats you really need to roll. And on top of that, this character actually have very good stats. If I were doing a deal makeup, my legacy would only be like 10% hunters. And ideally all ones who are kids of someone else, because that's a relationship that has 2 characters start off as level 1 friends instead of 0. So they become parents, and their children become closer faster than other characters because of that a little bit. At least they have an early start. Relationships are helpful against certain Thrixl abilities and such. But these are a terrible set of rolls. Samil is a folk hero. I believe that almost saw Bolt. Very nice item. He's only got Silk Step. He's only got Gem Child Plus. Now he's rolling either a cat upgrade, Shy Swipes, Bard, Thornfang. Melee kills are not super useful. And Bard you don't often want if it's the first. Oh, he's not going to retire. And if I spend a long time in the next chapter, I suppose Thornfang could become useful, but I might just want to re-roll these. There's no real need for wisdom for him right now. Luckily, it doesn't have to go into the legacy, though. This is effective 1 legacy point plus 5 stunt chance. It's not amazing. Although it would be like spending an ability if in a party of 5 for 25 stunt chance. And that's semi-useful. Thornfang some people love, but it's actually very risky getting a hunter up close like that. Bard or Thornfang? Well, he's already rivals with my other hunter. Extra stun chance could be quite useful. It's kind of cringe, but I'll do Bard. Go around with his ukulele or something. Ooh, Ravenwing R. This is tier 2 Mystic Armor. Let's give warding and spell damage to Brenner. I might actually want Heather Drab from eventually, but it's cheaper to cross upgrade Ravenwing into Heather Drab. It saves spells threads, which are the hardest resource to get usually, I find. At least relative to the man form. I don't use a ton of hides, but warding and spell damage aren't useless, but these gowns of magical fiber are nearly impossible to weave. It said the thread tries to take the needle on adventures, that the stitches argue with each other and need to be convinced towards neighborliness, that the fabric bolts, literally bolts, surfacing as far away as the next town over as and runs, bolts, or sprints away. The result of the labor, however, is arrangement through which full-bodied magic can be channeled. Off these sleeves, unwanted spells will greasily melt. Give this to Brenner. Probably later cross upgrade it. Oh, I got 2. It's interesting. Sometimes you get 2 instead of 1. Fox Quartz Strap. A leather and fur strap. Fits across the chest. Plus 0.5 armor. Nice. Probably useless. I'm already unless I really wanted to buffer for the final chapter fight. If I'm careful with this, probably manageable. 0.3 armor per level with a warrior. Yes, this will help Tomer get to 5 armor. They leave the Oldwane estate behind to sink into the obliviating muck of time. You good? I'll be fine. Just feeling sorry for just all the suffering that gets buried in the stories we tell. And the ones we don't. It will be a while before they feel like talking again. But not so long. And by the morning of their return, they'll carry peace in their hearts. Tomer gold up. He's wearing Wilderguard. Interesting, but by the way, this was fixed with an update to the mod, so it now gives accuracy instead of ranged accuracy, which is deprecated. That's nice. Though I think it used to get more other stats, but what it was is the base game updated. The dev tool hadn't auto-updated or hadn't updated the stats anyways, or something like that. I'm not sure I understood exactly what was being said. goodness, so I don't like any of these that much. Blood Rage, which deals extra damage as he takes damage. Harness, extra plus 30% health. So this would be like at least 4 health. Or Shield Shear. Can shear armor as a bonus swift action. Use engage for... Yeah, I'll take the harness because I use my warriors as tanks. Now he's got 18 health. So that'll help. He's got more than enough armor. Things will already get through with melee damage. Especially when he's stalwart up. It's mostly magic that can damage him. Just a little time slowly wearing him. And say Javelin invigorates him. Very, very hard to kill. Which is I like. I like it when my characters are extremely hard to kill. Excuse me. Give me a sec here. I'm gonna pause. Alright, sorry, I was carefully considering what my next move should be. Alright, I think I'm gonna send these 3 to the smelter, and then these are gonna go on that way? Really? How is that quicker? Alright, I'm just gonna gather them then. Let's finish this bridge. I was gonna say, I think the bridge progress is saved between chapters, but it doesn't hurt to get this done now. In case opportunities can sometimes have people travel to sites. Stuff like the Book of Stars, so in case in the next chapter I have a character who needs to go here and then this way, could save time and travel. As long as this doesn't cause Uli to reach 72 and retire before I get to the next chapter, I'm fine. Alright, let's go. Attack. Tell me a story. Did you see the huge moth that landed in Smeal's hair earlier today? How could I not? And you weren't going to say anything? Sorry, I had it paused for a second there. I need to lie down for a bit. Well, it's more in a second. Some number of minutes, because headache was getting worse. My energy levels on COVID are brutally low, and yeah. Also, when I came back, I quickly checked the relationship between Uli and Jevenlad. You'll see why. Pans. Anyways, did you see the huge moth that landed in Smeal's hair earlier today? How could I not? And you weren't going to say anything? Huge grin. He walked around with it for like an hour. Tell me a story before the embers die out. I just want to spend some time in a world where everything fits together nicely. Well, what would you like to hear? Now, yeah, first 2 stories they can give buffs just for next combat, but this can get them to be closer friends, which, so I was checking. They're already close to maxing, but I'm sure I'll do fine this fight, and strong relationships are long-term benefit. Might help with the chapter ender here. If they get to level 5 friendship before it. Nothing too fantastic. Just tell me something happened to you. Okay. Jevanlad told Uli about a blue jay he used to perch just outside his kitchen window. The bird's trust was more easily won than that of most wild creatures, especially with the nuts from Jevanlad's pantry. Sapphire, I called him. Jays demand regal names, you know? He always cocked his head as if he were listening. And there was a lot for him to hear. It was a time of breaking downs and moving ons. Wait, I was just curious. What is that thing he's wearing? Oh, that's part of the Tome of Oldwane, isn't it? I think a brooch. Maybe it is a brooch of power? Huh. Sorry. Easily distracted. Have trouble focusing sometimes. So what happened, little Sapphire? Same thing that happens to all who walk or fly this path, I imagine. Funny thing, though. The last time he visited, he brought me a present. A stone. Not too big, but almost perfectly round. I've kept it ever since, wearing its surface smooth with any worries or thoughts I have. You think it could be magic? Nah. It listens, and that's enough. Alright. There's a Muse here, which can dominate characters, if I remember correctly. I think that's Muses who do that. So that strong relationship is helpful. I don't know if they probably didn't level them up. Just got them. The game tracks like relationship points, basically how close. So there's progress made, even when characters don't level up, if I'm not mistaken, anyways. Kinnestead. Zillion eggs. Drathix. Poison Pea. Breathing Dragon. Nightmare Bard. Dweavers. And a Stone Spirit, huh? Oh, don't you dare teleport across the door. Ah. They're always running and forcing you if you want to go after whatever they had. To take huge risks. It'd just be a legacy point, though. Did not level up her friendship with Jevanlad. They were already companions and they didn't quite get to the next level, I guess. Let's see. So it's interfusing. Thrust. Bard can either burn, Dweaver. Just slices. It's mobile. Mind worm. Let's see. I can shred some of the Dweaver's remaining armor if I want. Why not? Do a bit of scouting, some meal. 2 Dweavers, huh? We got a jump jaw trap here and silk step. Stone spirit, be still. I'm not going to hurt you. Run free, spirit of the wild. Yeah, it might not have been optimal, but certainly wasn't useless either. It'll make this campaign a little faster. Won't have to save up as many legacy points from facing down incursions. So definitely recruit a hero in chapter 5. I always like to, you know, it's a chance to gain another legacy hero who I can, if I have enough legacy points, I'll bond. They're all something good. Do a hook quest, etc. I like to build the stories of, you know, my heroes get some storied adventures. All right. Let's spot the door at the warriors. Gauge plus here. Get plenty of armor against Dweavers. This prevents them from messing with someone else. Well, they will be able to mind worm him. Let's see stalwart pluses, so let's do that. Now I have to worry about the bard. Brenner wall up with Tomric, why not? Bone Lance, maybe. Can't hit both these. Could be useful on the bard. Or guarantee killing this Dweaver. Anyhow, and dead Dweaver. Fighters do double damage on flanking. Like this area had base damage, well, include the 11. Yeah. Starting to kill you without the shred arm. Right. She's got a shield, she's walled. This thing shouldn't be able to hurt her with its shell song. Can't either burn her where she's standing. Well, she has the shield out anyways. If I swap out the bow, she can take damage. Put her on Guardian. If the Dweaver comes in melee range, which it might, go, then she can strike it. Alright, and Brenner. Now this is flanking. Bone Lance the heck out of this bard. Anyways, Dweaver. I didn't stop them from setting the alarm. That's in a way good because I can stand back from the doors and know the enemy will come through. So that actually worked out. Sorry, just heard something shifting, I guess. Alright. Start on me for a second, sort of. It's Chimchai, I think, comes to the store. Where's her toughest nails, but open the door to reveal fabulous prizes. Nice little Easter egg there. People might not always notice that text. What enemies come through the door at their own pace? Invigorate. Smeal. He's now got 6 bonus health, which should be enough to let him avoid any possibility of, well, any kind of damage. hunters in the front. Warriors, barrel, because a lot of these shackle enemies. Workbench, the barrage. And a bone wall to delay the progress of most enemies. Unfortunately, none of these objects are more than 2 HP. So Brenner soul splits any of them. I should say none of these bone objects. None of these objects, period, actually, except for the workbench. So anything that gets soul split to gets destroyed generally. I think I wouldn't mind Uli actually. Stand further forward. She gets either burned. It's no big deal. She has so darn much warding. Tomric. Stand here. Use cover to duel anything that comes to this. Dory is somewhat less warding. No, I think he can actually afford to take a hit for better visibility through the door. Not 2 though. And I wait. There's the Muse. I tried to dominate the character who was immune to it. Silly Muse. To be fair, the only thing I could see that wasn't immune was Brenner, and he was probably out of range. Immune because of a Stalwart Plus, so cool thing wasted its effort, time entirely. And I can start working on dealing with this thing. So I can do 4 to 6 magic damage. So that's pretty brutal. Well, he has 6 warding. Let's get back in case something else comes forward that can ether burner. Everything's always contingent on what you find. Engage it though. Start working on killing it. It's got a lot of health. This is a ranged duel. I can use a win. chance to aim. That's terrible. Atrocious. This would be a bit better. 42%. Shoot with Mothbite. Legendary crossbow. Ooh, you got a stunt. Maybe chop Jevon that stunt. And yes, it's blinded. Stunt. Mothbite blinds enemies, which means they'll miss the next attack. Means not only is this thing probably going to engage Olivia if it somehow avoid engaging her, it would miss whoever attacked. Could chew in the scenery, but I think other things will be coming through that door. Maybe not a great idea. Also, I'm not even sure that's what the term chew on scenery means. Worth noting. Let's just kill it. If you can hit. Yep. Let's hide again. Jevon's hidden and has increased chance of critting. Awesome. Tomric can survive most magic attacks at least. And interfuse with that. Let me either bone wall this way or stone wall. More obstacles to enemies trying to come through. Some big rate Brenner against possible mine worms. So I don't see stone for him to gain Earth Scribe from. Warriors are immune. Samuel's got the extra health. Joel can't invigorate himself, but we could aid him if I really want. Just a protective effect. And wait. There we go. Open door. And there's Drathix. I don't think he can get through that archway, though. So, sits here and maybe Dre's poison in my party. Didn't expect something that big to be hanging out back here. I guess there was damaged scenery or where that could have queued me in if I'd intuited that. Okay, you know, it's like earlier saves. No way I'm rolling back. Reason I would. Poison and Mind Worm both deal true damage, so I do have to be a little wary of the Drathix. Shoot, I'm an hour already. And I'm tired. I'm gonna cut this video here. Pick back up in another one. Probably tonight, but maybe later. How my energy does. I wish you folks all the best. Take care of each other. Be kind to yourselves, and may you always find a guiding star to lead you home. Until next time, this is Northstar. I do, and best luck.